Hi, I'm Kelly from freebiefindingmom.com. Thank you for joining me today for another session of Money Talk. Please, if you will, before we get started, give this video a thumbs up and remember to click subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and welcome in my Facebook readers. Hi, Kelly here from freebiefindingmom.com. Thank you for taking the time to join me today for another session of Money Talk, where we basically just talk about the money questions that you guys have sent me through the week. And this week we're actually going to be covering a couple of weeks because last week, unfortunately, I didn't get a tape because we were out of town. Actually, we went over Father's Day. We went to a beach, a local beach. We went to Bethany Beach. If you aren't familiar, Bethany Beach is in Delaware. And so that was fun. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I kind of took you along with us on our trip because I shared some behind the scenes things on Instagram stories. So that was fun last weekend. If you will, like I say, if you're joining us, please go ahead and leave where you're viewing from in the comments, along with any money questions that you have. And as far as money questions, that's anything that pertaining to your saving money, even making money for that, especially money from home, investing your money, getting out of debt, anything related to those topics, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will get to them. So like I said, we're going to cover 2 weeks worth of material. I picked some of the more popular questions to review. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on some of those questions. The first question came from Autumn, and Autumn said, she basically wants to do some home renovations, but in order to afford to do the home renovations, she would have to take money out of her 401k. And she was asking if that was a good idea. Autumn, that is not a good idea. Not for home renovations. Taking money out of your 401k is some of the most expensive money that you'll have to take out. And that is because you're going to be incurred a minimum of a 10% penalty on taking any funds out of there. And so especially for home renovations. So I'll just share, Peggy had mentioned the same thing I just said, no, because you're going to be incurring penalty. You're exactly right, Peggy. She mentioned possibly using some of the equity in your home. You can get maybe a home equity line, a HELOC, and so use a home equity line of credit would be an option as well. Cassie or Casey, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, but she had mentioned possibly get a loan, and she brings up an awesome point, which I am so excited to see. And that is that she said, let your 401k grow. Because with the time value of money, with the power of compounding, it just is going to grow so much faster than what you would even imagine, especially if you're young when you start your retirement account. So great advice, Casey. Great advice. Or Cassie, I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. In fact, this brings me to a video, my YouTube video. I'm going to be sharing this next week, a YouTube video about the best financial decision that I ever made. And it is along these lines of 401k and retirement savings and that sort of thing. So check out my YouTube video. It should go live either Monday or Tuesday of this week. And I'm actually doing a collaboration with another blogger for this video. So you'll have to check out her video as well. And you'll see a link to that in my YouTube video next week. So if you aren't already, please subscribe to me on YouTube, and then you'll be notified whenever I have a new video comes up, which is pretty much, I'm trying to do at least one video a week. So, and if you're joining me from YouTube, thank you so much for joining me and being a subscriber already. That's awesome, because I'm working really hard to put new videos out every single week that is going to be helpful for you guys. And if there's a topic that you want to see that I haven't put out yet, please let me know. That's why I do these videos, like I said before, is because I get these questions and I want to make sure that I share the questions and answer them and have you guys help collaboratively answer them, because it just helps everybody. Because so many people that comment on these questions, whether it was their question initially or not, they get so much benefit from these money questions. Now, April brought up the question of, she said that her mom wants to buy Disney stock for her son. I think she said he was turning 1. And so she wanted to know if that was a good idea. April, I used to work in investments, and I know that grandparents have in the past done things like that, like want to buy like a stock that, the kids would care about, like, like a Disney or something like that. Or if they love to go on cruises, they buy like Carnival Cruise or something like that, like something that they think that would really be appealing to children. it's not a bad idea, April, but I would say I would ask your mom, maybe, I guess, depending on how much she wanted to give, I would probably say put it in a 529 college plan, perhaps, and invest it in mutual funds, because you're not going to be diversified when you just choose one stock. And I understand they want to choose something cute, so that when the kid gets older, be like, oh, I own some Disney. And Disney typically is a fine performer. Not an amazing performing stock, but fine. So it's not as though it's not gonna do necessarily well, but it probably will not do as well as what you could do if you put it in a low cost mutual fund. So I would say, April, say to your mom, what about maybe putting it in either an investment account for your son or into a 529 plan, and putting it in a low cost mutual fund. And I would start with like Vanguard funds first. So not a horrible idea, just probably not going to make the most money for your son as something like a low-cost mutual fund. Shannon said, I'm so sorry this is your situation, Shannon. Shannon had the question of that she is $40,000 in debt, she and her husband, and that she wants to get this debt paid off, but then she said that her husband only wants to make minimum payments on their debt. And that's tough. When you're not on the same page financially, it's really, really hard to succeed. So what we had some great suggestions from you guys, actually. Lisa mentioned possibly doing Dave Ramsey's financial peace class, which is an option too. I like some of what Dave Ramsey said, I agree with, and other aspects not as much, but he's been successful for a number of people. So if that's something that you're interested in, consider that. Angie brought up the point, and I like this, Angie, is about sitting down and doing the math with your spouse, and maybe then he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because I feel like if there's so much debt, like there's $40,000 in debt, you think, oh my gosh, I'll never get out of that much debt. But, if he sees that, okay, with a plan, an action plan, if we're diligent about this, that we actually can get out of debt. So, and it's not maybe going to be as overwhelming as what he thought. So maybe he will see some light at the end of the tunnel, and maybe Angie, Shannon, motivate him by, telling him that when we're done paying off our debt, then you're going to get something that you really want. So maybe it is a truck that he's been wanting, or maybe a new grill, or I'm going to be going on a certain vacation that he's been wanting to do. So to kind of just incentivize him in that way. And just, I think like Angie said, is the biggest thing, is to make sure that he sees there is light at the end of the tunnel. This is doable. You can get out of $40,000 of debt. It's just going to take a lot of work, and just being very determined and very deliberate about it. And she also mentioned Dave Ramsey. And this is one thing I do agree with him, that his methodology of the debt snowball method can work. Is it my favorite method to get out of debt? Depends on the person, is probably my answer. If you're not familiar with what a debt snowball is, check out my video. I just put that video up 2 weeks ago on YouTube of exactly what the debt snowball is, and I walk you through how to do a debt snowball. And basically, in the nutshell, it's paying off your smallest debts first and then proceeding to your larger debts. The thought is that by you paying off your smaller debts first, you'll gain some momentum. You'll be, more encouraged to keep it going. And I think that is very relevant for a number of people who are in debt. My suggestion is, of course, always pay off your highest interest rate debt first. But sometimes that could be a really large debt, and it could take you a long time to pay that off. And you may lose momentum in doing that. So I understand the rationale with saying pay off your smallest debt first, even if it has a low interest rate. I would encourage you to just know how you are. Like if you're someone that you're like, I just need these kind of little milestones to kind of keep going and stay motivated, then start with the debt snowball method, because then you're paying off your smallest debt and you'll start to see some achievements early on. That's great. But if you're someone who's like, no, I just don't want to waste the money, I want to get that expensive debt paid off first. So my highest interest rate debt, I want to pay that off first, and start with that one. So just know know how you are with your finances to determine whether that snowball works for you or not. But check out my video. In fact, I will put a link to that video in this post as well to help you access that. And another question we had was from Lydia. Lydia said, oh, this is a great question. Like Lydia wanted to try Zaycon, but she wanted to know what the quality of the meat was like. If you're not familiar with Zaycon, it's basically bulk buying of meat and seafood. So I have not used it yet, Lydia, but actually I want to, and I will do it. The only reason I have hesitated right now is because we just don't have the freezer space. I know we would love to do it, especially for things like ground turkey or chicken breast, or my husband loves seafood. So I would say seafood I've been looking at some of the deals on seafood, and that seems appealing too. But we had some great comments back from you guys, actually. Tori Tori had said, that she says the quality is amazing with Zaycon, can't beat the prices. She said you will need storage, or you can split it with a friend, which I thought about doing as well. And she said that, and I have heard this too, Tori, is that the chicken breasts are huge. Like you can only fit, and they taste better than what you're probably going to buy in stores. And when they're packaged, you can only fit one chicken breast in a quart bag. So they're really big, and they're very flavorful, delicious. And the reason they keep their prices low, from my understanding, is because it comes directly from the farmers. There's no middleman, so there's no markup there. So, and then Cassie also said buying chicken breasts. She's been buying Zaycon for 5 years. She said excellent quality, and she also likes their ground turkey as well. What I'll do is I will try to get you a link for Zaycon, and I will put it in this video as well. So if you're interested in checking them out, you can do so. So thank you for your question there, Lydia. I mentioned that my Snowball video is up here on YouTube, so please check that out. And this past week, I put up one of a fun video for me. It was a video I taped with my son about Young Living Essential Oils Diffuser. And if you're not familiar, if you don't know already, I sell Young Living Essential Oils. And I did a recent video with my son, Ian, who's 6, and with a Desert Mist ultrasonic diffuser. And it was just it was a cute video. And then in there, we share, if you buy the premium starter kit, it's basically a kit that you get samples of like 11 essential oils, this really nice diffuser. And you can also learn to sell essential oils too. And basically, if you buy it from me, I'll give you a number of freebies with it. And so check out that video. It's a fun video. And if you have any interest in learning about essential oils, be sure to check that video out too. If you've ever wanted to know how to sell essential oils or just make money from home, I encourage you to look at them. And Young Living are just simply the best essential oils that you can really buy. They're very high quality oil. And I love a lot of their products. Like, well, no, I shouldn't say a lot. I don't use all of them, but the ones I use, I like. I use like their Satin Mist facial scrub, which I swear to you, it's like a spa scrub, but for only like $16. It's really nice. And you use it multiple times. And I love a lot of the Savvy Mineral makeup items. In fact, a lot of what I wear is the all natural makeup from Young Living. So, do me a favor, if you will, leave a comment or send me a message. Let me know if you want to see any tutorials on some of my DIY beauty items that I use essential oils with, or like a Savvy Mineral makeup tutorial. I'd be happy to do that for you if that's helpful. Back to the money questions, because I know you're busy. We had a question from Courtney this past week, and Courtney said her husband won't let her color her gray hair because she's a stay-at-home mom and doesn't bring any money in. And she wanted to know if there were any good store brands that she could use to color her own hair. And you guys were great. Thank you so much for everybody who responded on Facebook to Courtney's question. For instance, Stephanie said, go to Sally Beauty and ask for a professional. And Mandy made the comment that, this is great, Mandy. I like your suggestion too. She said, ask for a professional who might work from home. And I didn't even think about that, but that's a good idea. And I'm sure that would be significantly less expensive. Megan said, John Frieda foam is easy to use, or go to Sally Beauty if you want to get a store brand hair coloring system. Nicole, great idea, Nicole. Nicole said check out hair schools, because they can either be really inexpensive or free sometimes, because the people there need to practice. So that's definitely an option too. And Melinda, who is a hairstylist, thank you, Melinda, for your comment. She said, do not buy box color. And she mentioned also that Sally Beauty is a great place to go to get hair color that is close to the professional. So another advocate for Sally Beauty. And then Tabitha said she colors her hair and she likes fairer, I believe it says. Donna, she recommends L'Oreal Excellence. That is good for covering gray hair. And please, Courtney, please check out your post here that I put up for you and look at all of the comments, but especially read Lori's comment, because Lori said she was in the exact same situation, and look what she did. She details what she did, but essentially she basically said to her husband, okay, yes, I don't bring in a paycheck, but I provide a lot of value that you would have to hire someone for. So here's what you would have to pay me. So she quantified that for him, and ultimately it changed his perspective. And so read Lori's comment. Great job to you, Lori. Very innovative. I like that. And I'm glad you were able to open his eyes by doing that. That's awesome. So hopefully that could work for you, Courtney, as an option. and getting your husband on board. Another question I had from Mindy, and Mindy, oh gosh, Mindy, I remember reading your question and really thinking about this one. Mindy was saying that in order to get out of debt, that she has 3 kids first, and that in order to get out of debt, they would have to sell their house and use their equity in their home to pay their debt off. And she wanted to know if that was a good idea. We had great comments again, you guys. Thank you so much. Mandy said, first, great advice. Look and see if there's any way you can cut back your expenses, Mindy. If there's anything that maybe you're missing, if you could really cut back on that, maybe would make a difference in paying off your debt. Susie also said about your mortgage. If your mortgage rate is less than what your debt rates are, then it might be a good idea to just go ahead and sell your house and pull your equity out and pay for it, and pay off your debt. What I'll tell you before you would do that, Mindy, I would say, are you really prepared to do that? Like, I know it can seem drastic. I know people like Dave Ramsey sometimes will say that, like, sell off everything and pay off your debt because debt is evil. And I'm not an advocate for debt, but I also will say you have to also be realistic. You have 3 kids in an apartment. Are you going to be going nuts? So, self-preservation is important too. So really consider, could you guys really sell your house and live in an apartment? If the answer is yeah, you know what, we'll just deal with it for a certain period of time. No, it's not going to be forever. Then maybe that's something worth doing. If you have enough equity that can pay off your debt, then consider that. I encourage you to look into refinancing too, though, Mindy, because that could be enough to be a difference maker for you. If it would save you enough every month and you could put that down towards paying off your debt, that could be enough to make a difference. Another option is our home equity loans, of course, you can look into too. But if you really think that you can sell your house, pull out the equity and pay down your debt, and that would be more meaningful to you because it would be a huge stress relief and you would just deal with all of you guys being in a small apartment and that's okay, then go for it. I think that's wonderful if you can do that. But I just encourage you to really think about if that's realistic for you guys. And the last financial question that I want to chat about today quickly is from Becky. And Becky said her husband's dad had passed away and left them some money, and her husband wanted to use it to finish the basement. Or she wanted to go on vacation with the family and then get a swing set, I believe she said, like a play set or something for the kids. And the majority of the people had commented and said, you know what, the money came from your husband's side of the family, probably go ahead and let him do what he wants with it, which is to finish off the basement. And in the end, it'll probably be better for your family anyways, financially, because you're putting money into your house. So you're making an investment and into improving your asset growth. And so it'll probably be the smartest financial decision of those 2 options. It'd be to finish off your basement. But if you still want that swing set, look at things like Craigslist and see if there's a used swing set that you could get for the kids. And regarding a vacation, consider, maybe someplace local that would be more inexpensive, or consider budgeting it. Maybe it wouldn't be this year you would take that vacation, but maybe you put it in your family budget for the next year or 2. So you could ultimately, Becky, get everything you want. You could have the basement finished like your husband wants, and hopefully you guys would benefit too. And maybe get a used swing set, and then either maybe we won't take that big vacation this year, but maybe in a year or 2 you could still take that vacation. So that's what I would recommend for that. And without further ado, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So those were the money questions I wanted to chat about. As always, leave any other money questions you have in the comments, or feel free to message them to me or email them to me. And it can be about anything about finances. So saving money, making money, managing money, getting out of debt, anything like that. If you will, please do me a favor, follow me on YouTube. I put up, like I said, the debt snowball video. And then this past week was a fun Young Living diffuser video that I did with my son. And then, this week I'm going to be putting up a video for the best financial decision I ever made this coming week. And I'm collaborating with another finance blogger. And so you'll get to meet her, and I'll put a link to her video too in the description, and learn what her best financial decision was too. And so I think that's what's going on. And don't forget to grab the Kroger Free Friday download today. And that's it. Without further ado, I always come back and check for comments. Please go ahead and leave comments, whether you're watching me on YouTube or you're watching me on Facebook. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to tune in and share your thoughts with me and with everybody else, because we all benefit when we are collaboratively sharing. Without being said, I got to run to my son's art show. I hope you have a fun weekend planned. And thank you so much again for watching. Bye-bye.